Romero. Hey everybody, FilmFanPete coming at you on the Romero Movie News channel, and you know what the best thing about this gig is? It's not my channel. I don't have the studios watching every step I take, every move I make. I can finally relax. Yes!
You're watching Romero Movie News on fucking YouTube.com. Oh, good for you!
So the first bit of news is that Columbia Pictures has released a new trailer for Men in Black 3 starring Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, and Josh Brolin. Now, I was never a huge fan of the Men in Black movies. I really did like the first one when I was a teenager, but, you know, they're watchable, fun entertainment. There's some good comedy in them, and Men in Black 3 looks like more of the same. Now, the trailer opens with a really funny sequence that has Will Smith doing that memory erase thing with a big crowd of people that just witnessed an alien in the streets that looks like a giant goldfish, so he's kind of telling them, you know, this is what happens when you flush your goldfish down the toilet. And from the look of the trailer, the plot has something to do with Jay having to go back in time, but then he's in the future a little bit talking to Emma Thompson at MIB headquarters. But the best part of the trailer is seeing Josh Brolin totally dominate the Tommy Lee Jones character. I mean, he embodies Tommy Lee Jones. His voice, the way he looks, the hair, it's perfect. Another good scene in the trailer is when Will Smith and Josh Brolin are in the 60s, they're at a party, and Andy Warhol is played by Bill Hader here, and obviously Andy Warhol is an alien, but Bill Hader looks like he's having a lot of fun with the role, so it looks like a decent little cameo thrown in there. And overall, if you're a fan of the Men in Black series, it looks like it could be a lot of fun. Again, more of the same humor and kind of sci-fi action, some funny alien scenes in there, but nothing beyond that. In the next bit of news, it looks like Deadline is reporting that Sony is going to be distributing MGM's remake of RoboCop. Now, the original RoboCop from the 80s was a great film, was an ultra-violent work of art directed by Paul Verhoeven starring Peter Weller in the title role as Alex Murphy in RoboCop. Now, Joel Kinnaman is a relative newcomer to the Hollywood scene, but he looks kind of like a young Peter Weller. He looks like he can pull it off, in my opinion. And really, this isn't the type of role that they're going to cast a big Hollywood name in. They want a young guy, some fresh meat to put in there, and make sure they can make a ton of money off all the sequels with it, too. Surprisingly, I'm actually feeling okay about this RoboCop remake. I think it's been enough time since the original. It's been a little bit over 20 years since the Paul Verhoeven version, and I think, you know what? Well, who's to say that modern technology can't make this movie look really cool with some great special effects, and who knows what the RoboCop suit's gonna look like? I think it'd be really interesting to see what a remake would have in store for that. And apparently the remake's really going to focus on the actual process of putting RoboCop together. Whereas in the original film, as you know, Alex Murphy's gunned down, and they kind of show a little bit in the hospital of them kind of building RoboCop. But this one looks like it's going to go really into that process and kind of talk about how they're taking the humanity out of someone and really making man into machine. So throughout the marketing campaign for the theatrical release of the Muppets last fall, there was a lot of different Muppets parody videos that the makers of the films made. And now with the Muppets hitting Blu-ray disc on March 20th, there's another parody, a final parody they're calling it, and it's based off the Hunger Games, of course. You know, I really enjoyed the Muppets movie last fall, but this parody trailer could have been better. It just could have been a little bit more. Really, it was just a montage of scenes from the Muppets movie with some special effects and title sequences from Hunger Games kind of laced throughout. Again, big fan of the Muppets here, but personally I think that trailer could have been a lot better. So apparently the script for a third Bill and Ted film starring Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter is complete. All this according to Keanu Reeves, who in talking to the Independent magazine said this.
Yeah, we have a script. It's a good script too. We're trying to put it together. Whoa.
Co-star Alex Winter also chimed in with a tweet that said, "Script done? Check. We love it? Check. Green light? Working on it." I remember enjoying the Bill and Ted films. It has honestly been so long since I even saw those though. It was a long time ago. I just remember George Carlin being so funny in those, and of course he is passed on now, and who's gonna replace George Carlin, seriously? Anyways, who knows, it could be some fun. The original films, as far as I can remember, were kind of funny for that age, so you know, a third movie, I'm for it. And finally, in the last bit of movie news for the week, there's a 10-minute sequence of the film John Carter that has appeared online. And you know what? It's okay. I was a little bit underwhelmed because I'm really looking forward to John Carter. I think the trailers have been really good, but from watching the 10-minute scene, I had just a few gripes. So anyways, the 10-minute sequence starts off in 1881, and I'm not sure if this young man is John Carter's son, or his nephew, or some kind of role like that, but he gets handed John Carter's private journal and proceeds to start reading it, and then we as viewers just kind of get into the zone, into the world of the journal. We see John Carter back 13 years earlier before that in the Arizona territory, trying to give some stuff that he's traded to pay a bar tab. Now all John Carter wants is a beer and a meal, but the bartender isn't having it. He says absolutely not. Some cavalrymen come in, there's a little bit of a fight sequence there, and then all of a sudden, this is all happening really fast, by the way. It's really fast action in this 10 minutes. John Carter gets hauled off to a cell by the cavalry. You know, this is like kind of Civil War period, and he's questioned, he's beaten up a little bit, he's left in a cell. Anyways, John Carter ends up taking the handcuffs from a guard, getting away on the colonel's horse, and then there's this big standoff with the Native Americans and the cavalrymen with John Carter kind of caught in the middle. The colonel gets hurt, John Carter and him ride off. They end up in this kind of cave or mountainous region where the Native Americans kind of look up in the sky and see something up there, and John Carter looks up in the sky too, and the camera angle's kind of pointing right down at him, and then it just ends. So obviously something in the sky, somehow John Carter ends up on Mars, and that's where the clip leaves you. Now my couple gripes with this 10-minute sequence is that it's a little too fast-paced, and I know what you're saying, it's an action movie, okay? It's a sci-fi film, I get it, it's supposed to be fast-paced, gotta keep the viewers, you know, attention, but it literally flies by that 10 minutes. It seems more like 2 minutes, to be honest, just boom, 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 action after action. But my biggest complaint with the sequence is that the lines are so forcefully fed out, they're just spit out by the actors. There's not a real lot of emotion going on here. When Taylor Kitsch is saying his lines, it just sounds so forced, like this forced delivery. It doesn't sound natural. Now, I can't tell if that's Taylor Kitsch's fault or if it's the screenwriter's fault. Anyways, a little bit underwhelmed with the 10-minute sequence in John Carter, but I'm still looking forward to it. The trailers that have come before this looked really exciting. There's a lot of action. I love sci-fi movies, so I'm still looking forward to John Carter, even though I was a little bit disappointed with that 10 minutes. Romero, you are the best, my friend. Thank you so much for letting me host on your channel this week. I really appreciate it. And to everybody watching, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this set, and look forward to a lot of fellow YouTubers on Romero's channel doing some awesome movie news updates. And now, finally, I can go back to eating my chips.
You've been watching Romero Movie News on fucking YouTube.com. Click this yellow button! What don't you fucking understand?